Hello, class! I have a new kind of nonfiction to learn about. Do you remember that word, nonfiction? It means not fake. So nonfiction stories are real stories, and we are going to read a book today that is a special kind of nonfiction called biography. First, let's learn what a biography is. Do you know? A biography tells the story of a person. So maybe you could read a biography about somebody who lived a long time ago, or you could read about somebody who's still living. The biography will tell what happened in that person's life. Usually, a biography tells things in chronological order, or time order. That means they tell things in the order they happened. Like in this picture you see, here's a baby, then the baby grew up to be a toddler, and the toddler grew up to be a big kid. That happens in order. A biography will tell things in the order they happened in a person's life. First, next, then, and last. These words help us know the sequence or the order things happen. So we'll use these sequence words: first, next, then, last. If I were to write a biography about you, I would write about how first you were a baby. Next, you learned how to walk and talk. Then you started to learn your letters. And last, you can now read. Okay, a biography shows how how a person changes and grows. It tells about their life. We're going to read a biography today, and we'll use the words first, next, then, and last to remember and write some notes about what happened in this person's life. The biography I picked is about a lady named Bessie Coleman. I don't want to tell you too much about her, because the biography will tell us so many neat things about her. I chose Bessie Coleman because she is a Black woman, and this month is Black History Month. I want to celebrate and remember Black history in our country and remember the things that they did to overcome all of the bad things that were happening for them. And there's still wonderful people who are overcoming things like racism today that we can't forget either. Let's talk about Bessie Coleman. Right, I'll have to move back and forth because the words change. I was born in Texas. It was 1892. I had 12 brothers and sisters. We were poor. So did Bessie have a lot of money? No. Where was she born? She was born in Texas. That's what happens first. Let's not forget it. I went to college in Oklahoma. I had to pay, but I ran out of money. I moved to Chicago. Okay, so she went to Oklahoma to start learning in college, but she ran out of money, so she couldn't keep going. That's kind of a bummer. I worked in a barber shop. A barber shop is a place where men can go get their hair cut and their beard shaved. There was a war. I heard stories about pilots in the war. So next she went to college, then she worked at a barber shop and learned about the war. I wanted to be a pilot. I wanted to fly planes. I needed to go to flight school, but no U.S. school wanted me. They didn't want Black students. That's not good. The United States was not allowing Black students to learn how to be pilots. Ugh, that's not right. I taught myself French. I went to France. Learning another language is very hard. She must have been very smart and very hardworking. She had to be resilient to learn a new language. That's cool. French schools taught Black students. I learned to fly a plane in France. So she went to France. She had to learn how to speak French, and then she had to go to France and then go through school in France to be a pilot. What a smart woman. She found a way to learn to be a pilot. Even though people told her she couldn't in America, she found a way for herself. That is resilient. I returned to the United States. I performed tricks in the air. I barnstormed. I parachuted out of my plane. Look at that. So she does tricks where she can fly the plane and do flips and different things. That's really cool. I wanted to open a flight school for Black people. This school would help them become pilots. This type of school would be the first in the United States. Okay, so she would have the first school in the United States that could teach Black students how to fly planes. Whoa. So she wanted something when she was younger, and people in the United States told her no. She was not going to learn to be a pilot. So she found out a way to make it so she could be a pilot. And not only that, she then went and helped open a flight school so other Black students, people like her, could learn how to be a pilot. That's really neat. I traveled. I gave talks to Black people. I did air shows. I wanted Blacks at my shows to be treated fairly. I died in an accident. I was 34, so that's really young. But I made history. I was the first Black pilot in the United States. I'll move over here so you can see her better. There she is. This is a drawing of her. And she was the first Black pilot. Here we have just a little timeline. In 1890, she was born in 1892. And she got her pilot's license in France in 1919. And then in 1922, she opened a school. And then she died in 1926. So her timeline isn't very big, but she did a lot with her life. Okay, so I think we'll stop there. There's Bessie Coleman. Let me go big. There we go. Tell me a little bit about Bessie Coleman. What happened first? Well, first she was born in Texas. That's usually what happens first in a person's life. They have to be born. Oops, I skipped a word. I was going to say she was born in Texas, so I better write all my words. First, she was born in Texas. Then what happened? She grew up, and next, she wanted to be a pilot, right? Next, she wanted to be a pilot, but what happened? Yeah, she wanted to be a pilot, but she could not go to school. Pilot, but they wouldn't let her. Okay, so she wanted to be a pilot, but they wouldn't let her. Then what happened? She went to France. She went to France and became a pilot and learned how to fly. She learned French. She learned how to fly a plane. That's pretty amazing. And then what happened last? She opened a school for others. That is pretty cool. Now you might have put down different events because more events happened in her life, right? You could have put down that she went to college or that she worked at a barbershop. You might have included that she died in an accident as the last thing. You could put down all sorts of different things. But when we use the words first, next, then, and last, we make sure we put the things in order. Thanks for reading this book and learning about Bessie Coleman with me today. Have a good one. Bye, class.